Hi guys, Sean here with Fotodiox. Now I just finished making a short film called Haunt, and I wanted to show you some of the Fotodiox gear I used to make the film. First off, I shot the film on a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera. This is a great camera. I got it for $500 last summer when Blackmagic was doing their half-off sale, which was amazing. I love the dynamic range. It's very filmic, and it's just a great little camera. I love it. Now I didn't have a lot of time to shoot my film, and I was basically just a crew of one. So I knew I wouldn't have a lot of time to set up lights, so that's why I decided to shoot with C-mount lenses. Now the nice thing about these vintage C-mount primes is that they're super fast. These are both f1.9 lenses. This is a Cosmicar 12.5mm f1.9, and this is a Bausch and Lomb 26mm f1.9. And just the basic lighting in the rooms was enough when I was stopped open all the way. And also I was getting a really nice shallow depth of field, which made the film feel more cinematic. To put these C-mount lenses on my Pocket Cinema, I used our Fotodiox C-mount to micro four thirds lens adapter. This is a really great little lens adapter, super simple. You just take the cap off your C-mount lens, just screw it into the adapter, and then you just mount it on your camera. And because the Blackmagic has a around Super 16 size sensor, you can use C-mount lenses, which were originally made for 16mm motion picture film, without getting any vignetting or crop. Now, there are a couple C-mount lenses out there that do vignette, but fortunately for me, these two don't. If you want to see a list of C-mount lenses that are compatible with the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema, just click the link in the description below. Now this rig was essential for my film. I love this little rig. It's the Mantis rig from Fotodiox. It's very customizable. You can fold it in all sorts of different ways. You can fold this back. You can adjust these hands so they're up. This was the setup I used for most of the film. Just very basic, just holding it with two hands. The nice thing about this rig is by getting my hands farther apart, I was able to shoot more stable footage. This is the third lens that I used on the shoot. It is a Rokinon 7.5mm fisheye. And what was nice about this lens is when I was doing specific shots where I was following the actress down hallways, having it on this rig with the lens really made for much more stable shooting. This lens is for a larger sensor. So on the Pocket Cinema with the crop factor, it's actually less of a fisheye and more of an ultra wide angle lens, which is really nice. As you can see, there's a little bit of distortion in the footage, but it's not as bad as if this fisheye was on a full-size sensor. Now, like I said earlier, I was a one-man crew, which meant I didn't really have time for lights, but there were a couple scenes where having a light was essential, and that's where this comes in. This is the Fotodiox FlapJack C300. The FlapJacks are fully dimmable from 0 to 100%, and this model, the C300RS, is also bicolor, which means you can switch from daylight to tungsten or somewhere in between. It is an LED edge light, which means the LEDs are built around the edge facing in, and then they bounce off the diffusion material. So it's a very diffuse light, very soft, and it looked really nice on my actors' faces. It was a really good portrait light, so for a couple of my close-ups I used it. There was a specific night scene where I had two characters talking outside, and there were lights on the building we were shooting next to, but they were kind of in the background and they weren't really lighting up my actors' faces. So I was able to turn this light on, and as you can see, it's fully daylight, but I was able to actually turn it to tungsten to make it match the building lights, which were also tungsten. So it's a very flexible light, beautiful light, and so for this specific scene, it was essential to get kind of that dramatic mood and to really get some beauty light on my actors' faces. Another instance where I used this light was a scene where I had my actors all watching a movie on a TV. And I wanted to portray the fact that the TV was on and it was, the images were changing, so the light was flickering on their faces. So what I did is I had one of my actors who wasn't in the scene actually off camera with the light pointing at my actors' faces, and they were actually just dimming the light, turning it kind of on and off, and it actually worked really well. I wasn't sure how well it was going to work, but it really did kind of create the feel that they were actually watching something on the TV. We had a scene where a character was driving in her car and texting. Now, I considered doing it for real and actually having her drive, but that wouldn't have been very legal, especially in Illinois where we have laws about using a cell phone while driving. So instead, I just had her sit in the car, and I just had one of my actors hold the light and spin in a circle. And what that simulated was the car driving under streetlights. And it actually worked really well. I mean, it was a really lo-fi solution, but it totally looks cool. At the film's climax, my lead actor wakes up in the middle of the night, he's at a sleepover, and the TV that they were watching the movie on earlier is just randomly on. And he sits up and he's silhouetted by it, and then he realizes someone is behind him. Now, I couldn't position the light exactly where I wanted it. I couldn't put it where the TV was because it was in the shot. So I actually, for one shot, I put the light behind the TV, which is kind of this surreal look where the TV was being silhouetted. And then later in the scene, I moved the light off to the side to kind of hit their faces. If you think about it, it's not a realistic lighting effect, but I think it works for the scene. It kind of ups the tension, makes it a little more eerie. And again, just dimming this light was really, really helpful. It was great that all I needed was this one light. Super powerful, beautifully diffuse, just a great little light. Now, if I'd had a bigger crew, would I have used more lights? Yeah, I probably would have had a couple of these or a couple dozen of them. But like I said, because I was a crew of one, just having this one light on hand was essential to get a really nice cinematic look for some of my scenes. To learn more about the products featured in this video, click the link in the description below. And click here to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you can get more videos just like this one. I'm Sean with Fotodiox. Thanks for watching.